Hey guys, good morning. We're going to go ahead and get into one-step equations. Okay, we're going to get into some algebra. I love doing algebra. It's so much fun. Okay, so you have to know who is whose opposite. So if I ask you for the opposite of addition, it's subtraction. The opposite of multiplication, division. The opposite of subtraction, addition. And the opposite of division, multiplication. Okay, so go ahead and press pause. Copy them down. Make sure you leave 1, 2, 3, 4 lines in between, okay? And then come back and I'll explain. My pens. All right, so the steps. Not too many steps, okay? Step 1 is going to be to isolate the variable. Isolate just means I want it to be alone. The variable does not want anybody on his side of the equal sign, okay? So an equation is actually a mathematical statement with an equal sign. So now you're going to see equal signs. I'm not telling you what that variable is. You have to figure it out, okay? This variable here wants to be left alone. We're solving for the variable. So we need to get everybody that's on his side of the equal sign out, okay? So think of this equal sign as a balance. Okay, this is one side, this is another side. So the side that has the variable on it, we need to get rid of whatever number is on his side. Okay, so that's step 1. That shows us who we have to get rid of. To get rid of the number, to undo the number, we have to use the inverse operation or the opposite. Okay, today we're just dealing with adding and subtracting equations. That's it. So you're going to see addition problems here. If you see addition, the opposite of addition, subtraction. If you see a subtraction problem, you do the opposite of that, which is addition, okay? So I'm going to show you here how to get it done. Integer rules still apply, okay? Fraction rules still apply. All the rules still apply here, okay? So that's how math is. It builds and builds and builds. All right. So let's get into our first example here. Okay, example 1. A plus 9 equals 27. Now, what this really means, variables represent the unknown number. So this means some number out there plus 9 is going to give me 27. To figure it out, we do the opposite, okay? So isolate the variable. I circle them. That shows me the letter A needs to be alone. And if you look, there's my equal sign. That splits the equation in 2 parts, okay? I need to get rid of the number that's on his side, which in this case is a 9. The operation that's happening, I'm adding 9 to that number. So the opposite of adding 9 is subtracting 9, okay? Now, it's a balance beam. So I took 9 away from one side, now I'm off balance. So to keep me balanced, I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the other side, okay? So I subtracted 9 from the left side, and you subtract 9 from the right side. So this step right here needs to be the exact same thing, subtracting 9. Now I can do the math, okay? So these two cancel out. 9 minus 9 is 0. That's the whole point of this thing, is to cancel them out. And finally, I am left with A, okay? I'm not going to put plus 0 because I don't need to. That's extra information. I don't need that, okay? It's 0, okay? Equal sign comes down. And now 27 minus 9. I'm going to do the math here. So subtract. 17 minus 9 is 8. And 1 minus 0. So A equals 18, okay? Check your work. You can always check. We're going to take A. Now, instead of A, I know it's 18, so I'm going to put 18 in its spot. Plus 9 equals 27. So let's add that. 18 plus 9. We got it correct. So A is going to be 18. Okay, that's all we're doing, the opposite. Remember your integer rules, though. You're going to see that happen over here. Okay, so now Step 1, I have b plus 10 equals negative 31. Isolate the variable. I need to get him alone. Remember, the equal sign is like a wall. It separates the two sides, okay? The 10 is on his side. I need to get rid of that 10. So I have to do the opposite operation. That's what step 2 says. Now, it's adding 10 to the variable b. So the opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. And you remember, we do it to both sides. We have to keep it balanced, okay? Now, these will cancel because that's what it's meant to do. 10 minus 10, 0. Bring down your variable. That's 0, but I don't have to write it. Equal sign comes down, but watch out. I have negative 31 minus 10. Do you remember how to subtract integers? We change it to addition and then change the second sign to its opposite, okay? Check the second number. So the negative 31 is going to stay the same. Subtraction changes to addition, and my positive 10 is now a negative 10. So be very careful, okay? Now you can think about SADs right here, all right? So again, I had to subtract. So I have to do the rules of subtracting positive and negative numbers. The first number stays the same. Subtraction changes to addition. And my positive 10 had to go to his opposite, which was a negative 10, okay? Now I'm adding positive and negative numbers. If you remember, we use SADs right here. I'm adding a negative 31 plus a negative 10. Are my integers here the same or different signs? They are the same, so we add them together. So 31 plus 10 is 41, and your negative comes into your answer. So b equals negative 41. So you need to be very careful, okay? Be very careful. People ask me, are we going to have fractions? Yeah, you can have fractions here. All those rules apply as well. Okay, so everything's going to pile up here. All right, let's try it again. Number 3. 4 plus x equals 10. Okay, now I need to isolate the variable. Remember, that's your wall right here. Okay, and if you take a look at it, the 4 is the one that is on his side of the equal sign. So I need to get rid of the 4 because the x wants to be left alone. Okay, so how do I get rid of the 4? I minus him out. I subtract him out. Okay, what you do to one side of the equal sign, you do to the other. And now we do the math. So these cancel out like they're supposed to. 4 minus 4 is 0. Perfect. X comes down to your answer, and it's a positive x, so we're good there. And then 10 minus 4 is 6. It's a regular subtraction problem. The number on top is positive, the number on the bottom is the positive, so we're good there. The number on top is bigger, so I'm not going to have a negative answer. So x equals 6. Okay, and you can always check your work. If I put 6 in place of x, what's 4 plus 6? It gives you 10. So you can always check. All right, let's go to the next one. N minus 10 equals negative 3. Okay, step 1, isolate. That's going to show you which number you have to get rid of. And if you take a look at it here, there's that wall. I need to get rid of that negative 10. It's on his side. It's in his room. He wants to kick him out. So to do that, we do the inverse, the opposite. Since I see subtracting 10, the opposite of subtraction, addition. So I'm going to add 10. But to keep it balanced, if I add 10 to one side, I need to add 10 to the other side. Okay? Now, 10 minus 10, those cancel. I'm left with n equals. Now over here, I have a negative 3 plus 10. Okay? So I'm adding positive and negative numbers. So I need to go ahead and remember the SADS rules. So same signs add, different signs, subtract. And here they are different, so I'm going to subtract, okay? So 10 minus 3 is 7. Then you remember what we did? Who has more? I have 3 negatives versus 10 positives. There's more positives, so my answer stays positive, just like that. Okay? Getting the hang of it? Just doing the opposite. That's it. Today is just addition and subtraction. Okay? So let's go ahead and do number 5. Okay? So on this one here, we follow the same rule. Okay? Isolate the variable. So I'm going to isolate the variable C right here. And we're going to go ahead and notice, there's your wall, that the -4 has to go, or the -4. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and do the opposite operation. So really, if I flip this around, I have C -4. Okay? So the opposite of -4 will be to add 4. Okay? So be careful there. You're going to do it to both sides. Okay? 4 minus 4 gets you the 0 we need. That way the variable C is finally all by himself in his room. And 12 plus 4 is 16. And that's it. One more. Isolate the variable. Who has to go? The 13 has to go. How do we get rid of him? Do the opposite. So we are subtracting 13. So the opposite of subtracting 13, adding 13. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. So these are going to cancel because 13 minus 13 is 0, which is what we want. That leaves us with the variable P. He's finally left alone in his room. Okay. And over here, I see a negative. I got to remember my addition rules. Same, add, different, subtract. So here I have a -2 and a positive 13. My signs are different. So I'm going to subtract them out. That's 11. And then I have 2 negatives versus 13 positives. It stays positive. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you 4 problems to try out. Okay. See how you do. I go ahead and copy them down the back of your notes here. And then come back when you're ready to see if you got them correct. All right. Okay, let's see. You should have isolated the variable. To get rid of this 8, you have to subtract it out because 8 minus 8 is 0. Do the same thing over here. And then you would have gotten x equals 12. Just like that. How'd you do? Okay, let's keep on going then. All right, isolate the variable. Instead of subtracting 9, the opposite was adding 9. Okay. Cancel, cancel. 9 minus 9 is 0. M is left over. He's finally alone. I see negatives, same signs or different signs. You should have noticed a negative and a positive, they are different. So I'm going to subtract. So 13 minus 9 is 4. 13 negatives versus 9 positives. It's going to be a negative. There's more negatives than positives. Okay, good. Next one, isolate the variable. That should have showed you that this one right here needs to go. So we do the opposite of adding 7. Subtract 7 from both sides. 0. 7 minus 7 is 0. X is left over. Minus 13 minus 7, 6. Yep, it's a regular subtraction problem. Okay. All right, last one. Y'all doing okay? Okay, good. So subtracting 11, I'm going to add 11 to both sides. And you should have got x, that's 0, equals 8 plus 11, 19. How'd y'all do? Okay. If you got a couple of wrong, if you got this one wrong, that is an integer problem. So go back into your notes, find integers when we're adding, subtracting negative numbers. Okay. It was on page 12 and page 13. So go back and refresh your memory on how to add and subtract positive and negative numbers, okay? That'll help you out with the equations, okay? All right, that's all I have for you today. If you want to see the bonus videos, check out the bonus videos, and I will see y'all tomorrow, okay? Bye, guys.